the stories, the journey, the wild behind the scenes, and much more. I'm Dave Anthony, and I'm the host of From Garage to Stadiums. By 1980, Stevie, who's now about 32 years old, is getting a bit frustrated by the fact that she has difficulty getting all her songs onto Fleetwood Mac records, and it's understandable. You've got Christine McVie prolifically writing, Lindsey Buckingham as well. They're incredible songwriters in their own right. In those days, for those that don't remember albums, there was probably about 10 slots on every album. So you've got 3 writers vying for those positions. What does this lead to, which in its own way threatens the integrity of the band?
Well, you've got Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham both got solo record deals. And Lindsey Buckingham makes a solo album that isn't very successful. And Stevie Nicks makes one, which is huge. I think it goes to number 1. And of course, there's naturally fear within the band that she's going to leave. Although she's adamant that she won't. But then having made that album, she then goes and makes another one that's very successful as well. So the 80s is a very strange, it's a sensitive period.
Right. So they're all sort of branching out.
They're all, Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks most definitely branching out. Yeah.
And that's kind of interesting because that's their own rivalry, I would think, going out on their own. The two of them have broken up years ago. They're not exactly liking each other. That must have added fuel to the flames.
Oh, it must have done. Yeah, must have done.
She actually writes a song with Don Henley. Is it Leather and Lace that they put out?
Yeah, that came a bit later. That was a little bit later, I think.
And then she writes with Tom Petty as well.
Big hit with Tom Petty. Very big hit with Tom Petty.
Stop Dragging My Heart Around. So, Mark, of course, no story of Fleetwood Mac would be complete without the hills and the valleys. So a valley's about to come here. We're going down the hill of the roller coaster, the mid-'80s. The early 80s are here. The impact of their relentless touring lifestyle. A few things happen to individuals in the band. Do you want to just comment on that?
Yeah, I mean, by the time they sort of regrouped, they went their own way after an album called Mirage, which came out in 82, I think. So everybody goes off and does solo things. And Mick Fleetwood goes bankrupt, so he gets them back together again.
And is that because of his drug intake, or what's that all about?
Too much money.
Yeah,
spend more money than he had. He's always buying houses and things.
Right. Fair enough.
Stuff like that, I think.
Pretty basic reason.
I don't know what the exact cause was, but either way, he's like, I've got to get Fleetwood Mac back together now.
Yeah.
He persuades Lindsey Buckingham back. But at that time, Stevie Nicks had gone into the Betty Ford Clinic, which was a very famous rehab center at that time. And she goes in there to get off cocaine. So she does join the sessions for the album that became Tango in the Night, but she's kind of underrepresented on the album. She's not quite there. So you have got the point where previously on the albums before, all 5 of them are together and they're all, now you've got things being done a bit more piecemeal.
Right.
Lindsey Buckingham's talked about, she was there for just a few days and he had to work very, very hard to get her voice and her song on that album, which I think you can hear when you listen to it. Lots of it feels like a Lindsey Buckingham solo record or Christine McVie record. In fact, it's him and Christine McVie that carry that album.
Yeah, so that's Tango in the Night in 87.
Tango in the Night, yeah.
And it's got Sweet Little Lies written by Christine. It's got Big Love by Buckingham. I guess Seven Wonders was Stevie Nicks' song.
That was the one they got on there.
Yeah. But I guess it would not be Fleetwood Mac without another incident that sparks someone leaving the band. This is like an episode of the reality show Cops. What happens next? They have a meeting at Christine McVie's house, presumably to talk about maybe the upcoming tour.
Tour book. That's why I had tour booked. And Lindsey Buckingham turned up and said, look, I'm not going to do the tour. And the reason he gave for that is he just couldn't stand. His version is that he couldn't stand the amount of drug use that there was in the band, and he just couldn't face going on the road with them again. At which point, him and Stevie Nicks get into a massive fight. She's accused him of some things, he's denied them. we don't know. John McVie gets in the middle of it.
It becomes physical, is what you're saying.
It supposedly becomes physical, and it happens outside on the cars outside Christine McVie's sort of mansion. So probably, you know, someone sort of over the bonnet of a Rolls Royce or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and someone else throwing champagne at someone else.
Probably some champagne going somewhere. John McVie gets in the middle of it, and you know, John McVie. We should talk about John McVie because he's a different kettle of fish completely. Anyway, Lindsey Buckingham leaves, and Fleetwood Mac do the tour with 2 other guitarists to replace him.
Yeah, and, Billy Burnett and Rick Vito.
That's right. Yeah,
the unknown guitar players of Fleetwood Mac.